What are they? Money, we all believe in. Money, we all trust in. When the money goes wrong, everything goes wrong.
Aziz, we are all gentlemen here, Aziz. Our families are downstairs, Aziz.
It's so wonderful to see.
Put this in your mouth. Oh, Aziz, please. Oh, Scott.
Something happens every time I'm near him. I don't know how you stay here. With all the blood and violence.
Right, please, stop! Right, stop!
Gangster Tale Mayfair is a new film that tells the story of the prodigal son, Zain Randera, who returns to his home to South Africa and to Mayfair, an Indian Muslim enclave in Johannesburg, for the first time in years. Upon arrival, he realizes that his overbearing father is receiving death threats and that the community he once lived in is now crime-ridden. Zaid is fighting to be a good man in an evil world, but the world is fighting back. Well, producer Jeeva joins us now to tell us more about the movie. Very good morning and thank you so much for coming through.
Good morning, thanks for having me.
Why do you think it was important to tell the story?
I think that there haven't been many stories set in this community, despite it being a fairly important community. This is the Johannesburg Indian community. I found that the stories don't come out that often and they're quite narrow in scope. So I love crime movies and I wanted a crime movie set in this community to be made.
When we talk about stories being told, just like you would know in the Ellen Pakis movie, it's not primarily about a mother who killed her son. There's always other themes that are, about in this film. Explore those films with us. Tell us about what those are.
100% correct. And I think that is quite important. It is a crime genre film, so there will be violence, etc. But the deeper themes at play, it's about, your faith, how people interact with it, how it affects their life. There's also a father and son element, family elements. There's also the broader theme, if you step back outside the family, about how communities interact with each other. So you'll see in the movie that there are the Indian people from Mayfair, and then there's the new immigrants of Somalis who are moving in. And it's about, these ways of immigrants and how communities are shaped and how they interact all the time.
And who would you say should see this movie? Would you say every South African should see this movie and why?
I would hope that every South African would at least take something away from it. I think it's got a little bit for everything. I've seen it with a few of my friends and it's quite interesting to see what people like. Some people prefer the family element, some people prefer more the crime angle. And I think it's a part of Johannesburg that people have not really seen. At some of the screenings, people were like, wow, I didn't know this. There's this whole Somaliland in Johannesburg, etc. So, yes, I think most South Africans would quite enjoy watching the movie.
And what would you say is the current plight of the Indian community, particularly within Mayfair?
Well, obviously with group areas and that, the community was quite strong. Most people stayed there since '94. You've been seeing a lot of people move out. And it's those gaps which are creating spaces for immigrants to move in. Not just Somalis, there are people from all over Africa and even from Asia who are coming into Mayfair. And that does cause some kind of conflict, I guess. So you can see how the neighborhood is changing. Yeah.
And so the film was recently announced as a semi-finalist at the Australia Independent Film Festival. What does that mean to you as a filmmaker?
No, it's great to see the film getting some recognition. We put a lot of effort into it. So any award that comes through, it's just a short list. But yeah, that's even quite quite warming to see that recognition. It's great.
Bring us into the cast members. How were they selected, and how did everyone get along on set during filming? And do you find that the people who are in the film resonated with the story, or felt that they'd learned something from the story?
Rajesh, who plays the father, Aziz, he was quite helpful in us finding the lead actor, Ronak Patani. He knew him through his networks in London. Ronak's actually from the UK. There aren't that many Indian actors in South Africa, so it was quite tricky to find them. But we were quite happy with the cast. We think we got some great actors, some great performances. Sorry, I forgot your second question.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to find out if the actors resonated.
Oh yes. What did come back from the actors' feedback, and it was quite nice to hear, is that they really enjoyed having the opportunity to perform in these kind of roles. Because they said that a lot of the opportunities they had in other movies didn't really challenge them as much. So it is quite a dense movie. It's quite complicated, and there's quite a wide emotional range. So they were quite thankful for that.
Yeah, so I mean, there's danger, there's violence, there's mystery, family dynamics, love. What do you want people to walk away with after having seen the film?
I think I want people to see that, there's this whole other world, and that there's this other side of South Africa that a lot of people don't actually see. And I want them to be entertained as well, in a different type of way. It's a bit of a tragic, dramatic movie, which is probably different to what they'd ordinarily see, but I think that's entertaining as well in its own way.
All right, and how long is it going to be on circuit for?
That depends on attendance this week. It's on circuit right now. It started on Friday. But obviously with most local movies, it's very dependent on the amount of people that attend, which determines the length and the circuit.
Now, we all know, I mean, being a filmmaker in South Africa is certainly not easy. And I know that a lot of filmmakers often, say there's not enough support from the government, especially because films cost a lot of money to make. What kind of support was there in the creation of this film? You spoke earlier on off air, and you said it took about 6 years, I mean, including developing the story, writing the scripts, and that filming only took about a month, you said.
About a month,
But what
yes.
kind of support was there for you as a filmmaker? And do you think, in what ways can it get better moving forward?
I think there's a lot of support in South Africa. We should be quite thankful as filmmakers. The government does a lot. The two main ways that it assists filmmakers is through a body called the National Film and Video Foundation, the NFVF, and the Department of Trade and Industry. The NFVF actually assisted in us developing our script, giving some money towards making the movie, and the DTI gives you the production rebate. It doesn't cover the entire budget, so we still need to go elsewhere to procure the entire budget for production. Yes, we're very thankful for what the government does do, and I think they're doing as much as they can possibly do.
And your advice to just young filmmakers who obviously have probably never taken this big step into making their own film, what sort of steps of guidance would you give to them?
I'd say focus on the script. There's a lot of great talent out there, a lot of actors, a lot of great cinematographers, directors, etc. There's a lot more good scripts that need to be coming out and being turned into movies. So I think people should focus on script writing.
Have you guys, what other festivals have you guys submitted your movie to?
We premiered at BFAN in Korea, and we were at the BFI in London, and we currently are at the Edinburgh Festival right now. Ronak's actually presenting the movie there as we speak.
All right, any awards that you're hoping to walk away with?
Well, we're crossing fingers, I guess, for the SAFTAs, I guess, yeah.
All right, well, we'll leave it there. Phenomenal. Thank you so much for coming, and all the best.
Thank you.
Great stuff. That was director-producer Imran Jeeva talking to us about the movie Mayfair. It is now back to the